Skinned knuckles, strained muscles, they don't even feel them. They were of one mind as they prepared for the battle to come. Soon they would strap a man, a friend, into a 600 horsepower roll cage molded inside a thin steel skin that they had made ready. Was everything perfect? That's what drove them. They are the pit crews, the fabricators, the engine wizards of NASCAR's Winston Cup Series, the people who make your Sundays roar. They are already starting to roar here in Rockingham at the North Carolina Motor Speedway as TNN Motorsports presents live flag-to-flag coverage of the Goodwrench 500. By my calculations, over 500 crew members have been responsible for getting these cars ready, and ready they are. That's 500 different sets of emotions and nerves. The drivers, they don't have time to worry or be nervous. These people do it all for them. They're under yellow right now, continuing to try this racetrack after early morning rain. Let's quickly go upstairs to our race callers, Mike Joy and Phil Parsons.
Thank you, Steve, and so much for elaborate pre-race. We're about set to go racing here at the Rock. Let's set the grid for you. Kyle Petty is on the pole. He has a chance to repeat. Last year he took the bonus of $295,000. Ken Schrader right alongside. Row 2, Davey Allison carrying one of our in-car cameras, and with him will be Harry Gant. In the third row, Ricky Rudd, second last week at Richmond with Mike Waltrip. Let's go to Brock Yates.
Mike, I'm with Richard Childress, who's getting some information right now from the Ernie Irvin crew. They've Tony Glover here talking a little bit about what's going on out there. We know that Dale ticked the wall. We want to talk to Richard about that. Richard, we understand that Dale clipped the wall a little bit.
Yeah, he pushed just a little up off the 2 over there, and he hit it to the right.
Okay, we're standing by in Jimmy Spencer's pits. He's talking with some radio people right now. If we can pan the camera down here, you can see some of the pieces that are left of the Chevrolet that Jimmy was driving. We're going to get a word with him right now and find out what happened. First of all, Jimmy, are you okay?
Yeah, Glenn, I'm all right. You know, just a shame that it had to happen so early in the race. Banker Foods car ran good last 2 races. Was going to run good today, too, but just got hit from behind. Nothing they could do about it, just racing.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're back. Well, I know we're back to you.
Good.
We're back at the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Apologize for the brief delay, but engines aren't the only thing that are blowing up here. We had a circuit breaker go in the main tower. May have taken a lightning hit this morning during the rainstorm, so our apologies. Not much has changed. Kyle Petty is still trying to wear out the field. Now only 10 cars on the lead lap, as he's out front at lap 122.
One key car that's not on the lead lap is Dale Earnhardt. While we were away, Dale Earnhardt got lapped.
8th place Brett Bodine has just made his pit stop, the second one of the day. And for Brett, it comes at lap 155. He was the 8th place car. Trouble in 1. Richard Petty is up there. Harry Gant and Dave Marcus. In a big tangle between turns 1 and 2, Jeff Purvis just spun off the bottom of the racetrack, trying to avoid it.
It's finally here. Tonight, the elite drivers of stock car racing senior circuit square off in their annual all-star race. But tonight, something is different. It's under the lights for pride for $1 million and the thrill of it all. It's the running of the Winston, and it's bound to be one hot night.
And hello, Charlotte.
Welcome and good evening. Boy, this is a much anticipated event, probably the most of the whole circuit of NASCAR driving. We are here tonight for one hot night. It's the Winston live on TNN.
Thank you, Katie, and hello, everybody. We're seated on the roof high atop the showplace of this sport, Charlotte Motor Speedway, where nearly 150,000 people are streaming in here for an historic first. We expect tonight the largest single-day nighttime sporting event crowd in the world ever. And Neil Bonnet, they're set to see quite a show.
Mike, I tell you what, I'm glad we've got these seats right here because there's none available anywhere. It's not only going to be one hot night, this was one hot ticket to get.
And there is Buddy Baker, who would normally be sitting up here with us. And right now he's sitting down there waiting to go racing and tell us all about it. In the Winston Open, carrying racing's first ever in-car microphone under green. Now, a lot of the TV networks have talked to drivers under the caution flag. Buddy Baker, who won the Winston Open in 1987. The field is on pit road, lined up for the start of the Winston Open, and TNN and the world's debut of in-car commentary. There's the Kanawha Insurance Oldsmobile, the Derek Close owned car for Buddy Baker. Many times a winner here. In fact, you, Neil, and Buddy had quite a battle here at Charlotte on a number of occasions. 1-2 finish. He'll start 13th here today, getting a drink from his water bottle. And how about it down there, in-car commentator? How are things going?
Things are going real good, Mike. I'm just sitting there waiting on everything to get started.
Buddy, 2 cars will transfer. Have you got a good shot here, or is it going to be tough to race your way up front?
Well, it's always tough no matter what race it is, but the car seems to be handling quite well. If it'll go down the straightaway, I think we've got a shot at them.
Well, in addition to you giving us your impressions, you're going to be the only car in the field with 17 cameras and 2 guys up here spotting for you.
Yeah, we had to take some lead out of the car, but we in the late night practice last night, we ran quite well. I was real pleased with the car.
Okay, well, good luck to you. And we get a little into this race, and we'll get your thoughts, and we'll try to help you work your way up in the field a bit here. Now, there's Buddy Baker in 47, drafting off of Jimmy Spencer. There's a look as Baker sees it. How about it, Buddy? Can you 2 guys draft your way up, or is it those guys just getting away up front?
There was that strobe effect we were talking about. You can see, Buddy, he's talking about he's pushing a little bit. The problem he gets into, you see him stick his car down under the 98 car. But when you do that, if he's got a little bit of push, watch his car slide up the racetrack. He's really having to wrestle the car because with the push, it's hard to cut him. But Buddy did a good job. It's got under him right now.
Getting ready to go green. You're riding along with Buddy Baker, former Charlotte 600 winner. In 72 and 73, he won from the pole here. Look at the flash bulbs go off in the grandstand as he tries to race Bobby Hamilton in turn 1.
Like there he goes up through the gears. He went from 2nd gear up to 3rd, back to 4th gear. Now you're flat on the gas down in here. At nighttime, the track doesn't go away. You can just hold it wide open most of the way through the corner.
Trailing Jim Sauter, the Evinrude Pontiac on the left. Bobby Hamilton in the middle, Rick Mast on the right. And he'll fall in and draft off Sauter. Best racing on the track is right here at 6th place. The man with 6th is Jimmy Henson. On his right, Derek Cope, the Purelator car. That Kellogg's car, the yellow car, is Greg Sachs, and you're riding with Buddy Baker.
Mike, Buddy tried it. He tried it behind the Purelator car of Derek Cope. Now he had to get back behind the other lane because it's running quicker. So you just switch back and forth and try different sides.
Back straightaway, heading for turn 3. We're just past halfway in the Winston Open. Cope up the racetrack. Here comes Baker. Close call out of turn 4. And Buddy gives him a wave. Buddy Baker, we've got 1 lap and we're going back to green. How are you looking?
I'll tell you, we're in trouble. We hadn't got any brakes. I'm going to have to ride it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, if he doesn't have any brakes on that car, he's got his hands full. It's just, you know, you don't use that much brake here, but you've got to have it in case there's a problem.
I don't know, man. It's awful to go down in that corner with no brakes. If somebody was to happen to slow up, I'd run all over them. You know what I mean?
Mike, he's talking to the pit guys, and I know what he means. I've been out there before.
Buddy Baker, you gave it a good ride, and it looked like you were in a real heavy pack of traffic those last few laps.
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Said you gave it a good ride, and it looked like you're in a real thick pack of traffic those last few laps.
Yeah, I tell you, we had trouble. I had no brakes right near the end there, and I had to just ride it out. Car was plenty good to win the race, I think. Mighty good car, boys. I'm sorry them brakes went out.
Well, Buddy, get changed. Come on up and join us topside.
Okay, I'll be up in a minute, Mike. Did y'all get some pretty good pictures?
We sure did. Thanks for giving us a good ride.
Okay, partner, I would have talked to you if you'd have talked to me. I know it's a good race. I wish that a bit.
Trying to figure out how to stop it now.
He'll find a way.
Drag that big foot out the window. It'll slow down.
You know, sometimes we take things for granted. For example, how much work, how much equipment, how many people are involved on putting on a live telecast of a NASCAR Winston Cup race? Well, our guys went behind the scenes here at Dover, Delaware to take a look at what TNN goes through to bring you the races.
After the TNN production trucks rolled in and took their places early Thursday morning, a staff of technicians had the task of pulling literally miles of cable that would eventually connect to cameras and microphones all the way around the Monster Mile. The process of putting the cables in place takes in itself literally hours upon hours of hard work, and it's all done by hand. Back in the compound, phone lines have to be hooked up, power boxes are checked, and the crew continues to crack open containers crammed full of equipment. By Thursday afternoon, things began to take shape. Production trailers are filled with monitors, character generators, microphones, headsets, and hundreds upon hundreds of the nuts and bolts things needed behind the scenes. After the cameras are unloaded, they must all be checked and color corrected before being carted off to their assigned positions. All the while, the complicated jigsaw puzzle of patching all those cables continues. And the man responsible for this portion of the live production coming together is Galen Holloway, engineer in charge.
Okay, when we start on Thursday, we bring in a crew of about 10 people that starts putting in the cable and setting up the cameras and setting up all the audio gear. And then on Friday, we bring in all the graphics people, and they start building all their graphics. And then on Friday night, the rest of the crew comes in, and everyone's here on Saturday to do the show.
On Friday, the pace really picks up. There are credentials to be handed out, food has to be catered in, and sound from drivers must be gathered for both Busch Grand National and Winston Cup telecasts scheduled for Saturday and Sunday.
I think more than anything else is that it tends to be a very specialized breed of people. They have to be, first of all, people that enjoy racing, and they have to know what it is. So you have a requirement there where somebody not only has to be good at whatever their technical or production job is, but also have an interest in what it is that we're doing, which isn't necessarily true with all of broadcasting. There are a lot of people that have jobs working on shows that they might not necessarily have any interest in. But if you're not interested in motorsports, you may as well not even bother to check in here.
Here we go. Stand by for speed.
Let me get through this break and we'll deal with it. Stay there, Ron.
Speed on tape.
Stand by, Mike. Roll X.
In 2, 1.
Up on your effect. Music. Go.
Charlotte Motor Speedway was jam-packed for last Saturday's running of the Champions Spark Plug 200.
On Saturday morning, there are voiceovers to record, feature stories to be edited, and that day's show open to be taped. And who does what when is all coordinated in a pre-race production meeting. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, it rains.
Now this is really simple, Randy, okay? We had the long version of the show I told you about, right? We rehearsed that. Well, we've thrown that out the window for pretty obvious reasons. We now have a hurry-up short version of the show, which is an interview with a pole sitter and go racing. And now I've just been given, by a pessimist in the truck, the half-hour rain show. So I've got 3 formats here, one of which is dead, 2 of which are live. I'm looking up right now, I think probably that half-hour show is the one folks are going to see. I hope not, but I think that's the one they're going to see.
Good luck. The Busch race was a wash on Saturday, and hopefully rescheduled for a sunny Monday.
But we all know what this is about. This is about remote location. If we had any brains, we'd have a business that was under a roof. And by virtue of doing what we do, we accept this, and we just have to swing with it. It's part of the business.
Sunday's Winston Cup race went off without a hitch. 1 down and 1 to go.
So good morning. It's a strange thing to be saying from a racetrack, but here we've got today, unlike the rain we had Saturday, beautiful skies. It'll be about 75 degrees here, nice stiff breeze.
Unlike other sports, when you televise a race,
really all you can format is the open right up to the green flag, because as we all know, after that anything can happen, and probably will. So you can't do too much formatting after that. You do talk about stories that you want to be sure to tell during the day, but you really can't say where they're going to fit in until you see what the pace of the race is going to be.
Getting ready to roll here. Todd Bodine is going to get jumped by Jeff Gordon. They do get the green. Now Bodine comes up to speed. Gordon and Robert Presley are going to have the front two spots as they settle down in turn one.
It takes a lot of dedicated people to produce a live Winston Cup or Busch Grand National race. There are statisticians, spotters, and assistants. And while Mike Joy, Neil Bonnet, Steve Evans, Glenn Jarrett, and Buddy Baker are the ones calling all the action, you'd never get a chance to see it if the people behind the scenes weren't there to make it happen.
Gordon's the leader. Todd Bodine.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon. I'm 13 years old and I'm running sprint cars, and I'm from Vallejo, California.
Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
It would be one of the greatest feelings in the world, but you know, it's not there yet, and you really got to earn your way up to that podium, and you know, who knows what's going to happen after that.
TNN Motorsports presents live coverage of the Duralube 500 from Phoenix International Raceway.
I like it. I'm learning to spell on this show. Hi folks, I'm Rusty Wallace. Welcome to the show. You know, each week we try to take a look at different aspects of winning in motorsports. Many of those wins you see on TV. So this week I thought, why not take you behind the scenes of how TV covers our sport. We've picked a TNN race. Good thinking, Rusty. The place, Rockingham. The event, the Goodwrench 500. All right, lights, camera, action.
We have to power this unit, obviously the office trailer, and power this unit up, which is the very first thing. Phone lines have to go in for all these areas so that we have communication, and all of them are tied together, just like an office anywhere in any town. So we actually built a mini city.
Anything that comes into Pam or Beverly or Jim, go ahead and fax down here. And this is the production office, and we do all the paperwork, all the soundbite sheets, all the schedules, all the formats.
As the producer, I'm the traffic cop. I'm the guy that decides where we want to go and what we're going to do, what replays we're going to see, when we're going to go to commercial. This year, unlike last year, the pregame show is mostly tape. Okay. In fact, we're going to tape the wraparounds for it today. Right. We're going to shoot the wraparounds today as kind of a mock production meeting.
At driver introductions about 12:10, national anthem at 12:26.
You guys got anything you want us to push?
Just the excitement of Rockingham.
Okay.
And the newness of what's going on here.
Okay.
Drove 180 degrees different than I did. I got that bad habit with
Well, right now we're shooting sound bites, and sound bites are used within the telecast, really just to support us throughout the telecast, to bring in a little bit of the personalities and talk about the racetrack and stuff throughout the race to kind of spice things up a little bit.
Sometimes I can't hear what they're saying to me, so it's very difficult to come back with a question that relates to what he was saying.
help on that, last.
Sometimes you have a list of questions, and you hope that, that he answers those, and he may say something and you might not actually hear it, so it is really, really hard.
I think what the people at home probably miss the most is the amount of work that goes into putting one of these on the air.
Well, you couldn't probably take even a great announcer, a Brett Musburger, or various other announcers. They could not come into this sport and do a live race without a lot of research.
I have a log of all the sound bites. We go back and we pick and choose the sound bites that are good.
Gary?
You might be way out.
Not sure how we need to deal with this with the Haviland logo in these lower thirds. We can move our lower thirds to the right.
I'll lose the Haviland before we get to Sterling Marlin.
Okay.
Hey Jim, are you going to try to get that record Sterling's audio speed shot
During
now
qualifying.
or this afternoon?
I'll tell you what, let's mix it all onto both channels, and that way we can pick and choose. But I would think this being a stereo show, we're going to have to mix
Today's format.
So these have already been distributed.
Apparently,
It's not that they don't want to be there for their fans and but
But
they cannot handle
But the
everything.
problem's getting solved because after Thursday, Earnhardt and his team said, all right, that's it. No more local stuff. We're not doing any more local stuff.
I agree with Randy and Patty. There has to be some kind of pool feed to these people.
and it's these guys that consider all these guys their best friend because they get to go to 2 races a year and they get to interview them.
Oh, man.
Well, there was no TV when I first started. I started in 1959.
Well, I think the growth of the sport can be directly related to the impact that television has had.
They've been able to capture the illusion of speed much better than when they first started.
In the early 80s, when cable was starting, ESPN had a lot of programming hours to fill. It was cheap, and so ESPN grabbed as much as they could and nationally televised it, and the sport grew with it.
You know, I watched all the preliminary work these guys and gals do getting ready for those simple-looking shots, and I've got to tell you, it's not that different from setting up a car for a Winston Cup race.
Right now I'm scanning in cars off of beta tape to put in our grid. I'm going to cut them out and shrink them down to size, and they'll be laid into our grid for Sunday. I'll stick little Bill Elliott's tiny little head. There he be. Bill Elliott.
Basically what I'm doing is setting up what we call an A-B roll so that we can dissolve between shots and make it look really nice and do some nice slow dissolves. So we're feeding a shot to each machine so that you can go from one machine to the next machine, and the director will mix it all together.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit your music. Nope. Is that right? Good? Didn't upcut it?
Go, Mike.
With Daytona behind them, it's on the road again for Winston Cup race teams. The grind has begun for over 40 race crews and television networks as well. For Winston Cup teams, the search for speed begins at dawn.
Dissolve. Where dissolve C. Dissolve.
Wrenches move furiously as the sun rises, for teams have just 2 days to find their race day combination. And TV crews face that same fast approaching deadline.
We got a real nice shot where the truck arrives at the racetrack pre-dawn darkness.
As morning progresses, the NASCAR garage comes alive with anticipation. So does our TV crew as we plan the strategy to bring you all the action.
Looks real good.
This is a time code, and this is the number that we use to find out where the different sound bites are on the tape. These numbers coincide to when we actually shot them out in the field. So what I do is I take these time codes, and then that's what I use to edit the sound bites together.
3. All right. Okay.
My 2 seconds of...
For an auto race, I listen to 4 channels of intercom. And, of course, the first channel is my communications to the camera guys.
Then I also listen mainly to Debbie Bound. She was the chief spotter for CBS in Daytona. I also have to listen to the Delta, our graphics people. 507. Riser. And then I also have to listen to the tape channel.
Open up the RF mics.
I've been very lucky working with mostly the same people for all these years, so you recognize voices and you recognize the things that you need to listen to.
This is the small camera you see that looks over the driver's shoulders, looks through the front windshield. It pans back and forth, just a light aluminum mount that it attaches to the roll cage. These small cameras mount up into the back windshield. Look out the back. Again, these can pan back and forth. This combination here fits into the window, passenger window of the car. And as cars get side by side, you can either pan over and look at the car that's running beside him, or it can pan the other direction and look at the driver. This is the main control box, which is basically the brains of the system. Any command, whether to pan the camera, make adjustments to the camera, all of that's all done through this box. Also has a small microwave transmitter which actually generates the picture that you see that goes up to the helicopter, and from the helicopter it's transmitted back down to our truck, where then we feed it to the remote truck where you see it.
And rear bumper cam, or under the rear bumper cam.
Man, it's fantastic for the viewers. I mean, it's certainly not like driving the car, but you know, it's been tremendous for the fans and the folks that watch on TV.
So if I start with a shot and show where he is on the grid type of thing, does that work?
We're going to start with a high shot.
It'll probably have to be from a high camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
The production meetings are important. I think for the biggest thing for me, I think it gets the camaraderie going for that afternoon or that weekend.
We only format the first 8 minutes of the program. Who we're going to interview, how we're going to do the starting grid, what in-car cameras we're going to show, what facts we have to establish before the race starts. Everything else is reactionary to what happens on the racetrack, and there's no way to predict or plan for that, and that makes it a heck of a challenge. It's by far the most difficult sport to broadcast. And Dave Marcus has a Winston Cup record 55th start here at Rockingham today, breaking a tie with Richard Petty.
Mike Joy is great at what he does. When he does a race, I feel like he's my right hand. If I get in a little bit of trouble, he always picks the excitement up and runs with it.
We don't have any structured roles as far as, okay, now Buddy's going to talk about pit strategy and Ernie or Daryl's going to talk about, you know, what the driver does in turn one. We don't do that. We kind of operate on a when you see it, say it.
We have two of the best pit reporters in the country, as far as I'm concerned, on TNN.
As far as preparation, you like to go through the garage area, you like to talk to as many of the crew chiefs in particular as you can, and some of the drivers too, to get an idea of how good was their car in the last practice session.
We have a great audio crew, and you know, they're following me on the camera cuts, so when the car passes a particular camera, you at home hear that car passing that camera.
Well, they had sold that car, built new cars for Kyle Petty, and they bought it back, understand, out of a field in Iowa, not the field of dreams. Run here at Rockingham, see if they can find some of that magic once again. Here's Earnhardt, Jeff Bodine, and Rusty Wallace.
We'll be rehearsing in about 1 minute.
The controlled environment of a football game or a basketball game, you have starts and stops and timeouts. Racing, at Rockingham or Dover, a place like that where they run for 5 hours, that cameraman works for 5 hours without a break. There's no timeouts. There's nothing.
Finally, everything pays off. When we come back, it's time for the race.
Break one, everybody. Fall out of Jones Park, ladies. Remember, boys, wear a condom. Wrap that rascal covering, boys. I'm going in. Roll the recorder, record, and race car spelled backwards is, of course. Race car! The king has a line. Patty Wheeler has no tickets, so shut up and fire them up.
Stand by to burn the pre-race.
Stand by to roll Y, ready to take on track Y. 8, 7 to Y. 6, 5, 4, 3, roll Y. Take Y, track it. Thank you for the compliment.
The Daytona 500 is a fast fading memory as the Winston Cup haulers hit the road. The grind has begun for over 40 race crews and television networks as well. For Winston Cup teams, the search for speed begins at dawn when their long day begins. Outside the track, our TNN crew forges the link between the action and your living room. They have fired engines, so let's go straight to the starting grid.
Ready to dissolve 5 with font 1 and dissolve 5 with font 1.
Let's do it. Can we do a triple?
Yes.
on 1. B if you want it.
Give me
24, 10, and 7.
24, 10, 7.
We just used 609.
There it is. Here's your triple. Tell them what we're watching.
All right, here's our triple split screen. With the entire pit row, there's Earnhardt coming in on the right. Jeff Gordon up top. Ricky Rudd, who came into the pit second, in the middle, and Jeff Bodine, who was third.
When a crash happens, you know you're going to have a replay of that crash. So you check with the cameraman if he shot it, and he knew he had all the crash.
Ready, go! Oh, the end car's got to be great on that.
Whoa, we got a wreck in turn 4.
Everybody.
I will never say that again, folks.
Rick Mast was up there. Second car involved. And we're back under caution quickly.
Live pop coming out. Randy, stand by. And still, if we have enough time, guys, we'll go down to Randy. If not, we'll let it get restarted. And then go down to Randy. You're covering a whole mile of pits in some cases. And so that's it's grueling. It's a marathon for those guys.
Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Robin Pemberton, what happened? Overheated, and what can you do about it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been running 190 to 200, and I guess it just started pushing a little water out. It's more important to finish at this point than it is anything. So we'll see.
What I see on the monitor, I have to take those 3 cars, and put it into the perspective of what's happening all the way around the racetrack.
To an average person that would walk in the truck and see what I do would say, man, I couldn't handle that. That's crazy, but I've been doing it so long, it just seems natural to me.
And open up Randy's mic and dissolve it up right over 1.
For the win, Jeff Gordon, career victory number 3. Bobby Labonte, best career finish. Boy, the youth movement is alive and well in Winston Cup racing. It'll be Jeff Gordon going to victory lane. We'll meet him there when we come back.
So what are we doing? What are we doing neat?
What we're going to do is when we come back, we will send it down to Glenn. He will get a comment from the winner.
Here's Glenn Jarrett, victory lane.
Jeff Gordon is just now unbuckling, got a cold bottle of water there. And Jeff, what a great run. That car was awesome.
Oh, man, it sure was. I tell you, unbelievable day for the DuPont Chevrolet. The new Monte Carlo is an awesome car. And, you know, I never thought we'd have them like we did today. And we had some downfalls. I mean, we had to work real hard. This is a long race. God, I mean, I'm worn out. Halfway through, I was like, God, my muscles are hurting already.
Stand by to roll, take roll C, release on a C.
And 10. Roll
C. 8.
Stand by to roll A.
Big crowd on hand here.
6.
Yeah. Ready, 3.
Here's Randy.
Open up, Randy.
4.
Championships. I don't care what anybody says.
3.
Roll back.
Here's how those
1. Stand by black.
Yay!
Nice job, folks.
Good job, everybody.
The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. As legendary New York Yankee Yogi Berra once said, it ain't over till it's over. And in Dover, Delaware last week, that was the case. Lap 450, John Andretti spun, setting a bizarre series of events in motion. Behind the melee, race leader Dale Jarrett checked up to avoid the spinning Kenny Wallace. When Jeff Gordon tagged Jarrett from behind, Gordon went behind the wall with a broken radiator. Jarrett survived, only to blow up a few laps later. Ernie Irvan inherited the lead, but got caught up in some grease on the racetrack.
Then Ricky Rudd became the heir apparent, battling Mark Martin down to the wire and earning his first victory of 1997. It just goes to show you, don't ever turn off TNN Motorsports until the fat lady sings.
There he goes.
It is a super speedway. It is a short track. It is a road course. Altogether, it is Pocono International Raceway, a 2.5-mile triangular layout outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a racetrack that has seen NASCAR run here for years, but the speeds are quicker than ever, and the grandstands are full for the running of the Pocono 500.
And Eli, today Ricky will start the Tide Ford in the 6th position. He finished second here in both races last year. He's had 4 second places at this racetrack. Ricky, what about your chances? How do you feel about today?
Well, Glenn, this is a real good track for us. We're a little bit off the pace. We're not running like we'd like to in practice, but
Richard Petty won 200 races, 2 of those here at Pocono. But here is an amazing stat. He never won a pole here, but his driver, Bobby Hamilton, has.
Steve, it's been a frustrating beginning to summer for Ward Burton. Over the past 3 races, parts failures have dropped him from 8th to 19th in the point standings. Today, he starts 3rd.
Matt, thank you very much. Welcome to Pocono, everybody. I'm Eli Gold, joined by Dr. Dick Berggren and Buddy Baker, a gentleman who won the very first Busch pole here for a Winston Cup race back in 1974. I love that shot.
I do too. I think the whole world loves that shot. And you can only see that picture at Pocono where they spread out going down that great big 3,700-foot front straightaway.
When it opened in February of 1959, the world had never seen anything like it. Traveling nearly 40 miles an hour faster than ever before, those first trial laps were a sometimes treacherous step into the unknown. Nearly 42,000 spectators gazed in awe at the start of the first Daytona 500. But much of the history of Daytona and of NASCAR was born of the July Classic they used to call the Firecracker. It was at her debut that Joe Weatherly fathered the concept of drafting. She witnessed the birth of the sport's first superstars. She watched as a president honored a king in his grandest moment. And she held her breath as legends risked all for the right to enter her history books. Tonight, we bear witness to another chapter in the history of Daytona as NASCAR's crown jewel gleams in the Florida night for the first time. This evening, the celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary continues as TNN Motorsports is proud to present Daytona at the speed of light. The Pepsi 400, a July 4th holiday tradition, moved to October due to Florida's midsummer wildfires. But tonight, with a state-of-the-art lighting system illuminating the night sky, there is a holiday feel to Daytona International Speedway, as we are just 12 minutes away from the green flag.
Okay, get ready. Pace car is in.
Strap in, folks. Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Enjoy the evening. Here we go. Good scramble up front. Here goes Jarrett, the winner last week at Talladega with drafting help from Earnhardt. He'll swing to the inside of Bobby Labonte in turn 3.
Jeff Burton had a miserable start there. Jarrett brings him off turn 4, and they head down the front straightaway. He's making his presence known right now. Leading is the best place on super speedways.
Go ahead, Patrick. Homer. Break. Going to fall off ladder. Jones target, ladies and boys. We're Connor Method. Russell Kermit boys will go in, roll to quarter for quarter, and race cars will backwards, of course. The King has no 10 line pattern. We send tickets to shut up and fire him up. Porter Wender, CZ Cunningham, Raleigh Fingers, Skinny Shade, Rich Petty. Love my work. Have a good one, folks.
Welcome back, everybody. Track cleanup continuing after the John Andretti problems. I'm the Eli.
That's the Donald.
That's the Donald. You just heard from the buddy. I think I'll...
Sorry, folks. We lost it up here.
I think I'll leave Mr. Bergman out of that.
Yes, I'm just good old Dick Bergman here.
Didn't we find the ecstasy?